I've never shared my testimony. Uh, I've never shared a video of my testimony. In this video, I'm going to share my testimony. The good, the bad, the ugly, whatever, unfiltered, exactly how it happened. And I don't care because it involves drugs, it involves all sorts of things. I'm just gonna park somewhere and I will begin recording. Yeah, here will do. So how it starts is that where do I start? Okay. I was doing okay, we came to this country, Australia, Perth, in December 1999. And me and my brother Ramis, who is younger than me by 10.5 months, we went to Tewart College to do year 12. And so that was a good year. I enjoyed that year. We had good teachers, and it was a beautiful time learning. Before that, before we came to this country, me and Ramis, we were doing A levels in Brighton, the UK, and but yeah, we got a refugee visa, humanitarian refugee visa to this country, Australia. So we came here with our family. My dad, mom. I'm the eldest of my family, and we are 6 siblings. We came here. We did the year 12, me and Ramis, and after that we went to University of Western Australia. I was doing a double degree in electrical engineering and a Bachelor of Computer and Mathematical Sciences. And Ramis was doing, I think he was doing software engineering as well, and chemistry, something like that. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. But anyway, and I was going through a lot of oppression that time. I remember I would stay up late at night on my computer watching porn and trying to familiarize myself with also the culture, the cultural difference that happened between coming from even in Sudan, where I used to live in Khartoum. My mom and dad, or my dad and mom, or however you want to say it, they wouldn't let us go anywhere. They were very protective of us, and we would not go visit friends or anything like that. We will just be staying home, like and that's probably part of that is because we originally are Coptic or Egyptian heritage, Copts of Egypt, but we were born in Sudan, and Sudan is known to be it's a Muslim nation, and we are Coptic people who grew up as Christian, but not really born again or anything like that. But yes, with that religion anyway, and it's different from the Sudanese people who are in Khartoum, Sudan, mostly Muslim nation, and so our families who grew up there. Actually, it was from my granddad. They went to Sudan because there was good business in Sudan compared to Egypt. So they immigrated to Sudan, and then they started doing business there, and that's how I was, I think, third generation in Sudan. I was born in Sudan, Khartoum, Sudan, and but yeah, they grew up with that trying to be a bit isolated from the from the general community in Sudan, like the Muslim community, and having their own thing happening. It's now looking back, I think that was really wrong of them, because they weren't really anyway Christian. Why are they separating themselves from the anyone any and Jesus said you need to be the salt of the world. So how can you be the salt if you're like keeping yourself away from the from the whole? Anyway, so I was born there in 1981, and I'm sorry if this is all making like all over the place, but that's how it is going. It's happening. And yeah, so I was born in October 25, 1981 in Khartoum, and I grew up there. We thank God, my dad Amir, he did very well in business, and he was quite above the average person in terms of income. He was doing well, and he sent us to private schools, and private schools. We studied there. I did the year 12. It was an English school established in Khartoum, Unity High School, and I did very well in the exams of the, I think they're called the GS. I can't even remember now, AGCSE or something like that. Anyway, some of you will be laughing, but anyway, yeah. And after that, we got this visa here to come to Australia, because there was war happening, civil war happening between the south and the north of Khartoum, and they would take students who are coming out of year 11, or year 11 is the last year before you go to university in Sudan, and they would take them straight. They're coming out of the exams, and they're not trained, and they take them straight to the war zone, and so my dad and my mom were very worried about that, and so they were trying to find a way to get to go somewhere before that happens, and we can continue studying. So yeah, thank God we had uncles who've been here. Well, my dad's uncles who have been in Australia since the 1970s, and one of them is like a very well-known surgeon in Sydney, and he's I think approaching 80 years old or something like that. But yeah, we got a visa. We came to Perth, and so me and Ramis, the one after me straight away, Ramis, he's 10.5 months younger. We went to Tewart College to do year 12, and we did very well. As I said, we went to University of UWA, and then my dad began to have a spiritual battle against him, a really severe spiritual battle. Before that, in Sudan, most people, like most Coptic people, they go to church, Orthodox church, Coptic Orthodox church, and it's a religion. It's not really a true relationship with Jesus Christ. And however, my dad, at some point in 1992 or somewhere around there, he began to have a real spiritual encounter with the light and with the darkness, and it had a toll on him, and he developed some kind of a confused mental situation, and the difference between my dad and most people who were going to church in Sudan, like in the Coptic church, is that he was actually really experiencing something spiritual. Most people who go to the Coptic church, Orthodox Coptic church, are just doing it religiously. There is no aspect of real spiritual experiences happening, and it's just dry. However, my dad had this battle happening in his life, and because he grew up not knowing anything about being born again or all that, no one in his community, no one, there was no internet. He had no guidance whatsoever, and so God was working on him, but at the same time, the enemy was working on him, and through church and all that, even the enemy working through the church to confuse him more. So, yeah, he had a very hard time, and he developed some kind of, well, they diagnosed him when he came here. By the time we came here, he had to shut down his businesses very quickly because he was beginning to get unwell, and all he needed to do was find someone who would guide him properly to the truth, to Jesus. And he knew Jesus, but the thing is, the confusion that happens from religion is so horrible. And if you don't have a community around you to support you and to help you, and especially when there is no internet to find testimonies, when there is no, yeah, everything was all over the place back then. So it wasn't as easy as these days. Anyway, yes. So my dad, when he came here, they him and my mom, they began to have friction, and friction was happening quite often. And me and Ramiz, especially me, I couldn't handle it. It was so much for me, I couldn't handle it. And so I said, I'm going to go to Melbourne. I'm going to do my first my first year of uni in Melbourne. So we stopped our first uni here, our first year of university in UWA, and we went to University of Melbourne. And I changed my course to software engineering. And Ramiz, he was doing chemistry, I think, at that time. Well, I'm not very sure, but anyway, that time Melbourne was there was the good side of it, there was the bad side of it. I remember my dad giving us a Visa card to spend as much as we wanted when we went to. He had money, and he cared for us, and he loved us, and he was even showing us how to cook when we go there, what to cook and how to do this and that, and but he gave me, I'm the eldest, so he gave me that Visa card, and that Visa card, I was using most of the money going to going to, what's it called, strippers, spending the money on strippers, and instead of buying food. I remember poor Ramiz, my brother, he and instead of eating, I was spending the money on that, and I feel so bad for what I did, but that's what I did, not knowing God or anything at that time. It was horrible, but yeah, I feel sorry for Ramiz because he lost a lot of weight. I also lost a lot of weight. I remember when we came back in the middle of the year to visit our parents here and our brothers, they saw how thin we got there, and because I was spending the money on the wrong things and just buying X-rated movies and going to strip clubs, and the money that the rest of the money we had, I was just we were just buying lots of beer and drinking, and yeah, anyway, towards the end of it, I developed insomnia, bad insomnia. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't go to my exams, I couldn't do well I did well in my exams, but I just couldn't. That was it for us. So I said, we have to go back. And when we went back to Perth, I don't know what got me to do that, but I picked up the Bible and I read the Gospel of before that, when we were still studying in England, Brighton, the A levels, my dad gave us a Bible, gave me and Ramiz a Bible, and he wrote on it, and he said, make sure that you read Matthew chapters 4, 5, and 6, or was it 5, 6, and 7? Yeah, 5, 6, and 7. Read Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7. And he loved Jesus. And he said it's the Bible is a letter from our Father who is God to us, who loves us. And so I never forget those moments when he was, even in Sudan, he was teaching us the parables of Jesus, like talking to all of us, getting us all on his on their king size bed, and we were around him, and he was telling us stories about Jesus, and those were beautiful moments. So faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. These small things, when you give them to your children, they make a difference. The kids retain these things, and they become valuable in their memories. Small things, you think they are insignificant, but they're very significant. Especially when you tell them about the truth, because the Holy Spirit is working on your children's hearts. And any good thing you teach them, any good thing that you show them from the Word of God, it stays there, because God makes sure that it stays there. The Holy Spirit makes sure it stays there. Anyway, so going back, insomnia, and I went back to Perth, and I was like desperate for rest, for relief. I was fearing because I couldn't sleep, and and I read the Gospel, and then it came to the point, to the place where it talks about Judas betraying Jesus. And then I reasoned in myself after I finished the Gospel of Matthew and John. And anyway, I prayed that God will take away this insomnia. But I reasoned in my mind, and I said, everyone is going to be saved, because God, if God is ultimate, and God is the creator of everything, then he will also save Judas, because he created Judas, and Judas can't be out of God's plan. Like Judas's act cannot be out of. So I had this idea of a universal salvation, and I said, and I remember that time Shadi, my youngest brother, he was the only one out of us who was having a real relationship with God, and he loved God at that time, and he was reading the Bible, he was praying, he was listening to hymns, and he was very different from all of us. And I was looking at him, and I was saying to myself, there has to be something real about what he's doing. I didn't have it at that time, but I saw his life, and I knew there was something, there had to be something. And all my life, I knew that Jesus was special. All my life, growing up, even before being born again or anything, or not caring about religion, watching porn, or doing whatever, swearing, whatever, everything, drinking, drugs, everything, I knew that Jesus was special, and I respected Jesus, and but I didn't know him personally, so I was keeping myself away from that kind of that side, because I wasn't ready. I knew I wasn't ready, and I couldn't change what I was. Man is born in sin, and I was no different. So, but I knew Jesus was very special, and Jesus was to be respected, and I knew that he died on the cross, and not understanding what that means, dying on the cross. um, I can't even remember if I knew that my family told me like he died on the cross for our sins or what. But I knew that that was something extraordinary, and I didn't understand it, but I respected him, and I respected. Yeah, I just didn't want to come close to that kind of thing because I didn't understand it, and I was living in a way that doesn't align with with uh, with that perfection that I somehow knew. Anyway, so where was I? I was we came back, yeah, and I read the gospel, and I had this mentality of universal salvation, and then I left the Bible, and I got healed from that insomnia, and I forgot about God for maybe a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years after that, and but then I got to the almost towards my final year of university, and until then, that was how old was I? I was 24 at that time, because yeah, I was 24, and I hadn't had a girlfriend. Um, I hadn't had a girlfriend up to that point. I never kissed a. No, well, yes, I haven't actually kissed any girl until that point. However, when we went to Melbourne, that first year of university, I went to a brothel, wanting to. Yeah, I was feeling like I'm different. What's wrong with me? So I went to a brothel to see what's going on, and the woman that was there, she was like maybe in her 33, 35, something like that. So I was still in 19 years old. So, and because I was feeling very uncomfortable in myself, and I knew that this wasn't the right thing, but I still pushed myself to go and do it, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't even get hard. I couldn't get an erection, and she was feeling sorry for me. She tried to kiss me on my lips. Most prostitutes, they don't do that. They wouldn't let you kiss them there, but she saw me like this kid, and she wanted to make me feel good, and she tried to kiss me there. Anyway, it was shit. um and yeah, so I left, and and anyway, going back to to when I was 25, and when I am 24 or 20, yeah, I think around 24, I was still oh, the oppression in the university years. I remember I would avoid going to lectures in the morning. I would avoid first thing, I would stay up late until 3 a.m. watching porn or trying to familiarize myself with the culture, movies, American movies, Hollywood movies. I remember specifically the L Word. I was trying to watch that L Word because um, I was having this question in my mind, like there was something Beale, this actress, something Beale in the L Word. I actually liked her a lot. Not Beale, um, I can't remember. One of the actresses there, I liked a lot, and I was thinking, what is this thing about gays, and what is this thing about lesbians? Why are people like that? Like I didn't understand, and then so I was trying to familiarize myself with culture differences. I familiarize myself with human nature. Familiarize myself with love, women, understanding. I wanted to understand life, and because growing up I couldn't have girlfriends. I was very shy. I remember in class, when I was doing classes in Sudan, and the teacher would ask us to read a passage in class. Oh, that was so hard. I was my ears would get so red, and I couldn't read. My voice would shake and disconnect, and everything was horrible. I don't know why I was feeling so shy. Maybe because I really liked girls. Because I liked girls so much, and when you like something so much, you're so afraid to look stupid in front of the thing that you are liking so much. So you become very self-conscious, and that has a counter effect on the whole thing. Anyway, that's what it was. So yeah, I grew up not having friends, girlfriends, and my first kiss was by that prostitute in Melbourne, and until when I was and my like I said, I was avoiding classes because I didn't want to engage with anyone. And one of the reasons why I was avoiding classes at university, I would just sit in my car, prison myself in my car, or not go to at all to university, no, not go to the lectures, and act as if I'm busy, like if I'm in a classroom, act like I'm busy or something, so that no one, so that I don't acknowledge someone looking at me, girl, guy, whatever, wanting to say hi. I'm so shy, so afraid of interacting with people, so I act like I'm busy in my note or some horrible existence, and staying in my car, staying in the car to avoid getting in contact with people. And one of the reasons for that is because I loved perfection. I did not like to be imperfect. I did not like to be weak. I did not like to be not being able to do the right thing, able to be a winner. I hated not being up to that standard. So I was avoiding everything because I knew I didn't have the language, I didn't have the accent, I didn't have the social skills. It was messed. So I was avoiding everything in life, and I found pornography to be a bit of a relief, especially in the family, especially in my family, because there was no the whole thing was so bad. Like there it was like, I feel when we were driving, me and Ramis, back from Tewart College back home, I would get this nauseous, or like I feel I'm sick, like I'm walking on eggshells because of the situation at home. There was so much how do I say? Yeah, you understand. It was not rest. There was no peace. There was a lot of hecticness there. Anyway, yeah. So when we were yeah, university, I couldn't go to any classes and all that. It sucked so bad, and I would even wake up so tired because I'm staying up to 3 a.m. and that. But and then there was one maths unit at the end of the course. I dropped the engineering after 3 years. The electrical engineering I dropped after 3 years because it was just too long, and I wanted to finish, and so I did very well in my IT systems, computer information technology systems, and I finished that major. But there was a mathematics major which had one more unit to finish, and I think that unit was to do with weather forecasting, and I haven't finished that unit, and I didn't want to I didn't want to continue doing keep on going, so I just dropped or not, I didn't go to the exams because my situation was so bad at that time. And so one maths unit I didn't complete, and so I didn't graduate from my officially graduate. I finished the major of IT systems, but the mathematics, there was a unit I haven't finished. So until today I don't have an actual graduation certificate for my BCM, Bachelor's of Computer Math Sciences. So when at that time I started working at Servo. I was doing I was standing behind the till and yeah, in Gosnells. That one on I think what road is that? Albany. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, in Gosnells, Caltex, and and I met them after that. While I was working there, I also worked as in Carousel shopping center doing yogurt, like making yogurt, Moo yogurt. It used to be called Moo yogurt, and the boss was so good, Hayden. I don't know if he sees this one day. Hello, and yeah. So there I met Esther, my very first girlfriend, and it was short-lived. And the funny thing is, I didn't know how to ask girls out or anything. That was my very first time to ask a girl out. 24 years old, can you imagine? Or yeah, I think it was 24, and because of watching movies, American movies, series, stuff like that, I kind of got a little bit of confidence at that time, and I did say something like, "So are you going to invite me somewhere?" Or I think that's how it went, and she was very happy. She was 19 at that time, so yeah, 5 years different. But yeah, and she was very happy, and we did go out that day, and we became something for a short time. But because I didn't have any experience, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I hated that, and so I broke up with her, and that was horrible. Afterward, I realized how bad it was because, anyway, I'll forget about that. Yeah, so, and then in the Servo, I met this man. He was working there as well, Danvir, and he said his friend, no, Pramuk, and he said he had a friend in an IT company. He was leaving that company, and he wanted to get someone to replace him. So he got me the job there. In kind of, I had an interview, and at that time the company was called 2CC, and I went to the interview, and I got the job, and we worked there for over 5 years, and it was very good time. And my boss Andrew was excellent, the best boss one can have, and the culture in that IT company was great. He gave us the book when we started working there, or I think three of us started at the same time, and the book was called Semco Code or something, and he was very much into the iterative kind of software development way, which is basically developing in increments rather than getting the whole thing and developing the whole thing. And yeah, and one of the key things he loved is having his employees having a say in how the company gets managed and run, and all that. And so anyway, maybe 2 years into working there, and I met this woman. I was so, at that time I was doing good at work, but I'm so um, I needed to have a woman in my life, and yeah, I ended up going to this not connect. Yeah, I was going to Connections. I was going to the other one, that other gay club in Northbridge. Can't remember what it's called now. Um, anyway, yeah. Why I was going there is because the people there are. I felt like gay people at that time were more welcoming, less judgmental, less aggro, uh, accepting of others, and that is a good thing in that community. It's a good thing. So you could be a little bit more yourself, even though you're a bit an outliner or an outcast, or you didn't fit. Um, you could feel a little bit more at ease in those environments. So yeah. Anyway, I met Sarah there. She was starting to study, and she was a lot more experienced, way more experienced in her life than me in terms of relationships and that. And she liked me when I approached her, and I bought her a drink. And anyway, we became something. And she was studying to become a flight attendant. And yeah, so we got to. She taught me a lot about the sexual kinds of stuff and all that. But yeah, not that I knew much, but or even after. But she helped me. Um, she helped me move forward in that direction. And so, but because she was doing flight, being a flight attendant after shortly after we got together, just wasn't sustainable, and we had to go our own direction. She just didn't want to continue, and that was it. And so I was broken at that time, very broken, because I loved her and I didn't want that to happen. But God had a plan. So I got to a very low place in my life. At that, from a couple of years before that, or no, about a year before we got together, I started doing photography, glamour and nude photography of girls. And what was the motivation? Yes, there was a little bit of liking. I was looking at black and white photography, especially the Polish kind of portraiture, and Polish Poland, around that area of the world, and the photography of portraiture. And I loved that kind of photography, but I also was very much wanting to get in connection with finding a way to get with women, with girls, and yeah, that was a big part of it. So I got into that photography. I did glamour photography. I made a Facebook page on that, and my photography used to be called Girls of Acid Photography. And I was recruiting girls, and they were the girls who wanted to get into modeling. And there was a website called Model Mayhem, and getting models from there and all that. And I remember I was hiring hotel rooms because I was getting paid well by 2cc. Now it's called Zudata, but yeah, 2cc. And I was getting paid, and I still lived at home where my parents were, so I had money on me to spend. And I was doing that photography and paying these girls and paying for hotel rooms and all that. And until 2011, or 2011, towards the end of it, when Sarah left me, and I was so heartbroken. And and my photography, I was trying to push the boundary with my photography, making it more explicit, even though there was a battle at that moment. I remember in around August or November 2011, October 2011, somewhere there, I went with my brother Ramiz and a couple of his friends, Dennis and his wife Sasha. They were doing a PhD in UWA in chemistry or something. Sasha was doing. Her husband Dennis. They are from Russia. Anyway, we went out together and we were in the Northbridge, around that big screen in Northbridge, the corner of Lake Street and James Street, and and we before we it was night time. We went to get something like weed. I think it's called Chronic. You buy it from the sex shop on James Street. We got that, and I had this small pipe, a metal pipe, and I put a bit of that Chronic, and I had one or two small. I had it before, but this time we were sitting on the grass on that in front of that screen, and I had a drag I inhaled a couple of those, and then something very strange happened. I was like I wanted so much to feel love.